Hey YouTube, it's Mr. North 14, and today I'm going to talk about the Blink XT home security system. And when I talk to a lot of people, they complain about many of the false readings that their system gets from the outside cameras. Now, I'm going to tell you that the Blink XT security system is awesome in my house. I've never got a false reading. My cameras always work in my home. So if you get this system and you're getting it for cameras inside your home, excellent. I will say this will do everything you need it to do. Okay, we'll protect your family. You won't get any false readings. My cameras always work in my house, always, and they don't pick up things they shouldn't be picking up, like my bird or anything. She walking around in her cage. It won't pick any of that stuff up. Okay, so it's excellent at that when it's in the home. Now, the issue I have or had when I first got my system is when I finally got my XT cameras and positioned them outside. And a lot of you guys who talk to me on YouTube always complain, how can I get the false readings down? Why isn't the cameras picking up my car in my garage? In my driveway? Why is this? Why is that? And the first thing you have to know is how your cameras work. Now, the Blink system, okay, your camera has to be no more than 20 feet from the object you're trying to watch. So if your camera is farther than 10 feet of your car and driveway, that's why you get false positives. Okay? Don't have the camera guard the mailbox if it's more than 20 feet away. You will get false positives. Okay? And especially at night when cars drive and the light, hits the road or hits your grass, it'll go off. So you have to put in factors for that. Okay, the great thing is that the new Blink XT cameras have the zoning feature. They updated it where you can get smaller squares and block out, okay, more things you want to block out. And I'll show you that in a minute. But I don't really use that because I've found the best way to set up my camera so that, a lot of stuff don't affect it. Okay, not even the cars that go down my street anymore because they're more than 20 feet away. And that's how I had to position my camera so that it realized that. So I'm going to show you some tricks and things I do to help my outside cameras. And it all goes with positioning, the angle of how I angle my cameras, and it also takes into account that I move my sync module around my home. A lot of people think they have to keep the sync module with their router or modem. You don't. You can literally get it and move it around the house. Not only that, you can have more than one sync module. I got one for indoor, one for outdoor, so that I can set my scheduling, for when I want my system to arm and disarm on two different times. Okay, so let's get into this and let's talk about some of the things I do to help my outside cameras work efficiently. Okay, so like I said, my inside cameras are excellent. Never had to worry about them. They do everything they need to do, night vision, all that other stuff. So let's get on this outdoor. As you can see, this is the front of my yard here. Now we're going to go actually into the camera here, and I'm going to show you that I don't even use zoning. Here go the activity zones. I don't even use zoning, and I don't get any false readings. But if I did want to block out some stuff, this is the best part. You see that advanced feature here? I'm going to click on that, and you see how it breaks the squares down into smaller squares? Well, I could block these out, you know, like that. That's the street, so I wouldn't want any lights or anything coming from it. And that, I would block that out until the camera don't look over there or you don't see anything coming from there. I can even take out more parts of the grass, but in a smaller amount. So let's see if I went back to basic. You see how that is? When I went back to basic, it did a smaller grid. So that helps me out when I want to, really pinpoint an area. But as you can see, like I said, I don't need to do any of that because of the way I position my camera. Okay, let's go back here. The way I position my camera, this is what my camera sees. At night, it's still going to see that little part of the road right there, but it's more than 20 feet away because I know how my system works. Okay? And that's what you have to do. You have to understand how your system works. How far away is your system from the road? Now, when I first get my cameras and I hook them up, I do a little test. Okay? I go into my front room and I get 20 feet away from my camera, more than 20 feet away. I put the camera one end of the hall and I go as far as I can. And I walk up to my camera and wait to see when it's going to pick me up. If it's within the 20 feet range, if it's within the 15 feet range, then I know my camera is good. Okay, then I know not to call them. But if I get a camera and it doesn't go off within that 20 to 15 meter range, I know I have a bad camera. And something's up with that, or it needs a firmware update, and I'll do it again. But if it don't, then I call Blink immediately and say, hey, I got a bad camera. This thing is not picking up. If your camera does not pick up within 20 feet, between 20 and 15 feet, it's bad. Okay? So that's the first test I run. And if it passed that test, then I know I can position it after I hook that camera up anywhere in my home. Okay? So let's go inside my XT2 camera again. Okay? As you can see, these are my sensitivity settings. I got it on 5. I can go higher than that in my camera to 6 or 7, and my camera still wouldn't pick up any false alarms. Okay, you see I got it on the lowest trigger time, 12 seconds. It's going to record again. Okay, and the clip length is about 20 seconds. Okay, so what I do when I put my camera up in a particular place, I first start out by going to a 6 or a 7. Okay, that's what I do. And then I try to get it, and reset my trigger times and everything where, yeah, I'm going to get false alarms because it's so high. But what I'm going to try to do is, make it so it's not, setting my camera up so that it's not noticing everything, but on the highest setting. So then when I do finally get it the way I want it, when I do take it back down to the halfway point to where everything is, the sensitivity should be at 5, then I don't get any false alarms. I don't have to use the auto zoning features or the zoning features to block out areas because I've set it to the highest limit to where I'm going to get false alarms, try to adjust my camera and everything so that I limit the amount of false alarms I get. So then when I take it back down to the medium level of 5, I'm not getting anything. And that's a tip I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope this helps you so that the first thing you do when you get your camera set up with your system and everything is that you check and make sure that it's picking up things from 20 feet away. After you do that, you go and you hook it up to wherever you want that camera to be outside, okay? And then you go to the sensitivity and you go to trigger times that are high, like you're going to do your sensitivity, try about 6, try about 7. Adjust your trigger times to see if you can stop the false alarms, okay, and stuff like that. And then once you see where you get it, where you know you got wind blowing and things, you can notice what's causing the camera to go off. Okay, so like for instance, in the front of my house, one of the things that was causing, and I'm gonna have to take care of tomorrow, is if you see that long rose bush branch, when it's blowing, when the wind is blowing, it's blowing up and down, and it's going to give my camera a false thing of motion. So I know I have to cut that down and keep the plant at a nice sizable level where when the wind hit it, it's not blowing all crazy and erratic. So that's why you do what I told you to do. You go and take a higher sensitivity so you can see what's happening, what's causing your cameras to blow up or to go off. That's why you do the higher sensitivity. And then you take care of those things. You might have to trim here. You might have to trim a bush there. But in the end, you'll get it to where you have that high sensitivity, but it's not going off all the time so that when you do put it back down to 5, you won't get any false alarms. So that's basically what I do with my system. Again, on the side of the house, I do the same thing. As you can see, I have no activity zones set up, and I have no false alarms. Okay, and that's what I try to tell people, because that's what you need to do. You need to first set it up to its highest level, then find out what's going on and everything with it, and what's setting it off, and then you take care of what's setting it off, and then you lower the setting, and you have no more false alarms. This is Mr. Noor 14. I hope this helps you with your false alarms. If it does, please put a like. This is Mr. Noor 14. I'm out. Peace.